Welcome, Dark Warriors. This is Rumen. So as soon as I saw this, I knew I had to talk about it. I audibly gasped when I saw this. I heard rumors that we were going to get the Japanese PS4 version of Star Ocean 2, which is basically just a soft remake of the PSP version, which is arguably not even as good as the original version, because a lot of the backgrounds had to be stretched to 16:9, so a lot of things don't look right in the new aspect ratio. But still, when I heard the rumor that we were going to get the Japanese version of Star Ocean Second Story R, I thought, okay, cool, cool. Like, I don't really care if it's better or worse than the original, as long as people can experience this game on a modern platform and it's easily accessible. I thought, okay, cool, good. But then I see this screenshot and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the same game. That's not the Japanese PS4 version. This is an entirely new, built from the ground up remake, and it's gorgeous. And my hype went through the roof. Like, I don't know if it is, but it looks like it's using the same engine as Octopath Traveler. And I know some people have grown tired of that aesthetic, but personally, I'm down for getting remakes of RPGs in this style. This style that sort of blends the retro in with the modern and kind of harmonizes it. And personally, I just think the aesthetic is amazing. Even if this remake ends up being not as good as the original in some aspects, I think I'm just going to prefer the remake anyway, just due to its visual flair. Supposedly, they're going to add in new side quests, which is interesting. That makes me wonder if maybe we're gonna get new characters? I mean, I doubt it. In the original game, almost every side quest just led to recruiting a new character. I mean, not every side quest, but that's basically the gist of it. Like, if you wanted to get Aston, you had to do a side quest. If you wanted to get the aliens, you had to do a side quest. They're bringing back Welch from the PSP version, which is great. Of course, you gotta have Welch in there. Just from the little snippets of it I've heard in the trailer, it sounds like the voice acting is being redone, which is interesting to me because, I mean, the original voice acting was already there. I don't really see the point, but new voices are always welcome in my opinion, and the voice acting does sound good. So I'm welcoming the new voices. There were some voices in the PSP version that I didn't like that much. Like, I think the voice actors did a good job, but I just don't think their voices matched the characters. Like, for example, Gabriel in the original PS1 version, Gabriel sounded like a robot. His voice had this metallicness to it, and it was really deep. It sounded like a demon talking through a foghorn. But in the PSP remake, he just has a really deep voice. It doesn't sound robotic to me. Like, it's a nice voice, but it just doesn't have the charm of the original PS1 voice. So I'm wondering if in this remake, they'll make his voice a little more robotic to match the original version. Also, the music in the PS1 version, oh my gosh, the credits theme in the PS1 version was incredible. It is one of my favorite video game songs of all time. But it's not even in the PSP version. In the PSP version, they replaced the credits music with some pop song that kind of ruins the mood a little bit. Like, I don't know, after such a heavy ending, you don't really expect to hear pop music during the credits. But the original PS1 song during credits was this beautiful, slow, rhythmic piece. And it was actually kind of emotional listening to this song after this game's ending. And I think the mood is ruined with the new song in the PSP version, so I'm kind of hoping they bring back the PS1 song, or maybe have an option to choose between soundtracks. But honestly, those are just like little complaints. Like, I'm not one to nitpick like that. Like, oh no, they changed one song that plays at the end of the game. No! So if they don't bring back that song, that'll be a real shame, but the song still exists, it's still there, so I can just pop the music on my phone and then play it over the credits like that. I heard some of the music in the trailer, and it sounds like some of it is being redone. I heard a snippet of the remake's Rena theme, and I like it, personally. I think the original is amazing, but I think the new Rena theme also sounds amazing, so I have no complaints there. Oh my gosh, what if we get a remake of the PS1 version's credits theme? Oh, I just thought of that. Oh, that would be beautiful. Anyway, now on to the combat revamping. So in the original game, you couldn't summon your party members. You had your 4 default party members, and your 4 other party members could not partake in combat. So that's a new thing. It looks like you can summon them with the D-pad. So if you want Leon to come and help you, you can just press the Leon button, and then he'll quickly be summoned, do some damage, and then go away. That seems nice. That seems useful. I like that a lot. It doesn't change the gameplay, it just adds to it. I've only played Star Ocean 1, 2, and 3, so I don't know if that's a thing taken from another Star Ocean game, or if that's just something they're doing new for this specific Star Ocean game. But yeah, I do like the summoning of other party members. It makes them feel like they're there, like you don't forget about them in your menu, you always acknowledge them. I feel like in Star Ocean games, I can kind of forget about my party members sometimes. Like, if they're not in my team fighting with me, I can kind of forget about them sometimes. But having it so you can summon party members makes it so you always know they're there, and they're always helping, and they are a part of the story. And the particle effects, oh, the particle effects look beautiful. I forgot which character it was, but when I saw one of the characters get summoned, and they started raining down this purple stuff on the enemies, I was like, wow, these battles are going to really be intense with all of these effects flying around. And it's not distracting. The effects don't look distracting. Like, I can still see Claude, I can still see the players, I can still see the enemies, I can still see the environment. It's not like some other games where the particle effects just completely overflow the action so you can't even see what's happening on screen. Like, it's not distracting at all. Now, if there's one thing I'm gonna miss from the original, it's the pre-rendered backgrounds. Some of these backgrounds were absolutely gorgeous. Like, on a CRT monitor, those backgrounds looked like beautiful paintings. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I think they're remaking the aesthetic in the best way possible. Like, the forest where you meet Rena in the original is beautiful. I love how green it is. It feels like a very earthy, atmospheric place. All the vegetation is overgrown. But in the remake, the forest looks less busy, looks more barren. I don't know, maybe it's just like where the scene takes place. Maybe they changed the location slightly so it's not located in the midst of the forest in the remake. Maybe it's now located off to the side, and that's why the forest looks less busy, like there are less trees. And in the original, the characters blended with their environment. So in the original, Claude and Rena look like they belong in that forest. They look like they're part of the world. Their art style matches the art style of the forest. But in the remake, you have these pixel characters contrasting with everything around them. But honestly, that's like a little small complaint. Like I don't mind personally, I don't care about that. A remake is a remake, so of course it's going to be different. The aesthetic is going to be different. Just because it's not the same doesn't mean it's worse. Like, I think this remake looks beautiful, even though I think the original game is already beautiful. Honestly, I think it's just this one area in the forest that I actually prefer in the original. Every other screenshot I saw looked faithful, and the characters did look nice in their environment. Also, I saw that in the remake, you are running through the village of Keurig as it's being destroyed. That is really cool. In the original, it was a cutscene. It was a pre-rendered cutscene, so the fact that you can see it being destroyed in real time and you get to play that segment is beautiful, and it really shows how far we've come, because I don't think that moment really could have been playable in the original version. I don't think they could have animated the pre-rendered backgrounds in such a way to allow the player to play that part. So they're using this new aesthetic to their advantage. The developers are like, okay, in the original, we were able to animate the water and the doors opening, but that's pretty much it. But now in this remake, now that we have these full 3D environments, we can do a lot more of the animation. We can actually break the environment and we can show things getting destroyed in real time. And that is beautiful. I love that. It shows that developers are not just having a pretty art style just for the sake of it. No, it shows that they're using the pretty art style to their advantage in the remake, and they're going to do everything they can with this new art style to tell the story in new and interesting ways. Because being able to play that moment where Keurig gets destroyed will add so much to that scene. It will add a vibe to that scene that just was not in the original. And yeah, I hope we get to see more stuff like that in the remake. I hope they change it in interesting ways while keeping the heart and soul of the original. It looks like the developers are putting a lot of effort into it, and I hope that they're being paid well and they're not being overworked, and I hope they deliver the product that they want to deliver. And I'm very optimistic about this remake, and it looks amazing, and I already pre-ordered it. And yeah, even though I've never played Star Ocean 4, 5, and 6, I'm going to play those just because of how excited I am for the Star Ocean 2 remake. Yeah, I bought Star Ocean 4, 5, and 6 on PS5. I'm going to play those. I've heard mixed things, but I mean, I don't really care. I judge for myself how a game is. And I might make a video giving my thoughts on the later Star Ocean games, the more controversial ones. I suppose it depends on if anybody wants to see that. Also, before I leave off, I'm just going to say this. Valkyrie profile Lenneth R. Give it to me. I want it, and I know everybody else wants it too. Alright, thank you so much for watching, Dark Warriors. This announcement has put me in a great mood.